Welcome to the Outer Realm with Michelle DeRoche and Amelia Pisano. Airing live on the United Public Radio Network, 105.3 FM in New Orleans.
Welcome to Don't Whistle at Night podcast, where Navajo legends echo in the shadows. Darren and Dawn will guide you through the sacred fire of Native storytelling, where the old stories breathe, the unknown walks among us, and voices, long hidden, rise to be heard. And remember, don't whistle at night.
Hey, good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Sunday night edition of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. How is everybody out there doing tonight? I want to thank all the people who are listening to my show, all 160 countries that are tuning in tonight, right now, listening to my podcast. I did make a mistake when I was setting up the show. I didn't realize that I had it set for 8:40 p.m. So maybe a half hour ago, I put the right time in. That's why I usually start at 8:10. I also want to thank you, PRN Talk Radio, 105.3 New Orleans, Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans. Hey, Kirk, good to see you, buddy, for allowing me to give you 2 shows a week, Sundays and Tuesday nights, from 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. Eastern. Don't forget, right after my podcast tonight, my dear, dear brother, my dear friend, Don Yazzie. Hey, Michelle. Paul, good to see you. Paul Gray, thank you for popping in. I also don't forget my friend Don Yazzie, his podcast, Don't Whistle at Night, will be right on after mine. And he has a great podcast. So right after mine, just go over and give him some love. Tell him I sent you. And I don't know. It's going to be a good show. Heidi says, hello, Sean. Much love from Loveland. Just picked Audrey up and drive home. Well, hello, Miss Audrey. Good to see you. You take care of your grandma, okay? Seriously. But tonight's going to be an interesting night. I'm seriously thinking, after, I go through the shamanism, okay, I want to do a reading for everybody in the chat room and everybody out there. And I'm going to use my animal deck cards, the ones I use when I go. Oh, that's good. I'm glad she said hi. But, I'm going to give a reading. I figure, why not? For some reason, it coming, I just have been bombarded in my mind and different signs that I see about the Native American spirituality. Okay. And hello, Amy. And I think that I want to, do 2 or 3 shows on this month, you know. And notice Tuesday, I got a friend of Dawn. His name is Lycentric, and he's a Native American, oh gosh, not enthusiast, but experiencer. Yes, an experiencer he is. And I'm looking forward to having him on the show on Tuesday night. But I'm definitely going to do a reading for everybody out there. Um, so I still got it. I don't know. But tonight I want to talk about shamanism. Okay. And I've told you a couple of times on my show in the past where when I really started to get into the spiritual work, uh, into the metaphysical, what it started out as, and then I got into the spiritual work. I was in a bookstore over in Homestead, PA, and when I'm walking through this bookstore, literally a book just fell off the shelf and into my hand. And I looked at it, and the name of the book was called Black Elk, a Lakota Sioux shaman. And at that time, I was real big, and everything that happened to me, it was a sign from, you know, from spirit or whatever it was a meaning, because I was really getting into it back then. And so I took them and bought the book and went home and I read it. And I just kept reading and reading and reading all about the book and about Black Elk. To be honest with you, right now, that's been since, what, since 1991. That's when I actually started, you know, getting into the meditations and stuff. But I read the book, and then one day they were doing some meditation techniques there. And I decided, well, what the hell? What the hell? I might as well to go and, start doing these meditations. Hey, Mark Eddie. Hey, Quinn. And so I'm doing these, so I started. And I had a hard time at first. I went out and I bought, CDs of drumming, the flutes, and actually burned like sage in a 1 bedroom apartment, which wasn't a room. I'm glad to hear that, Quinn. Hey, General, good to see you. And so in the one small bedroom apartment, I'm lighting up all this sage, man. Oh my God, it was terrible. Hey, Kenneth, good to see you. And I guess it got me there. And then that's where, well, I told you everybody where I got my wolf, Lakota, my animal totem, the male one, through Mother Earth when I went to see her in the middle of the earth. But Black Elk was there to meet me. He was there. He met me when I went into my meditation. And I just felt so safe. I really did. So safe. And he just took me by the hand and we walked. And we didn't talk, but we walked. And he was showing me the different trees. He was showing me the animals. He was showing me all kinds of things that I have never, ever, ever experienced before, you know. And I'm telling you, it was enlightening. And they say that, your spirit guides are given to you or they just get assigned to you. And I believe when that book fell off the bookshelf into my hands, honestly, Black Elk was waiting. And what was really, really sweet about, reading the book on Black Elk, I started to buy a couple other books. And I know I learned a lot about their meditations. I learned about their beliefs, the Native Americans. I learned about their beliefs, especially the Lakota Sioux. Um, and to me, if you want me to be honest with you, I felt more at home. I felt more peace um, practicing the Lakota Sioux spirituality and their beliefs. And as time went on, and the more I got into um, the meditation, the shamanism, and learning about shamans, I didn't get an ego, but I got a lot more. Let me think of the word. It's hard to think of the word. I got more courage to go out and explore different avenues of different types of path because I was introduced to Lakota, who's my spirit wolf. Heidi knows him. A couple other people on here know him. And then I just felt strong knowing that I got protected. Wasn't scared to go out there and go out there during meditation because I knew I was protected. And so I thought, maybe the last couple days or the last couple weeks, all the Native American stuff has been popping into my head. And I figure I'd do a couple shows on it. Hopefully I can get my dear friend Donna Copus to come on because she is Shawnee. And the gentleman that I'm having on Tuesday night is Navajo. And one thing about the books, okay, especially the authors excuse me, of the Native American books, the author says that everything is around great mystery. I do believe that is. He says, we have what you call saints and angels and whatever, we have different names for them. And you know what? It really, really, really like kicked me in the butt for happiness, especially when I started off getting sober. And so, you know, I want to talk about what shamans are, shamanism. And of course, you know that I use my AI for it. So I'm going to read a little bit of it. And don't forget, in the second part of the show, what I want to do is I want to give you a reading, everybody a reading, not just one person, everybody. It's going to be one big reading for everybody. And if it pertains to you, more power. I hope it helps. I hope it helps everybody. I'm not going to tell you you're going to hit the lottery or hit the $1 million. I, and definitely I can't, going to say that you're going to die because that's my job. That's not my job. That's only God knows when you're going to pass away, not mine. And that's one big thing I hate about readers out there say, oh, you're going to die at this certain time. And I'm like, you're so full of shit. You just don't do that. You have no control over when your death is. So if the psychic comes up to you and says, you're going to die, don't believe them. Don't believe them. The only true person that knows that you're going to die is the big man upstairs, God. Yes. He's the only one that knows. Nobody else does. But shamanism is a religious and spiritual practice centered on a specialized individual known as a shaman, who acts as an intermediary between the human world and the spirit world. So basically, what he does is that he goes into this trance where his meditations, he goes out there, finds the spirit that, is pertaining to the situation that is happening to him, to another person. So this, say, like I go to the shaman and say, I'm not feeling well. What can I do to take care of this? And what he'll do is, this is scenario. That's all it is, a scenario. And then what the shaman would do will go into a trance, go into a meditation, go out there and find the answer for you. Hey, Kevin, good to see you. Don't forget, Kevin, Audrey's around too, so you have to say hello to Audrey. Some of the key characteristics is the technique of ecstasy. A core element is the shaman's ability to enter an altered state of consciousness, often called a trance or soul journey, to communicate with spiritual entities. Just like how I explained in that little situation where, I went to the shaman for a question, and he went and did a trance and he entered into the spirit world. Card says, are shamans and medicine men the same thing? Just different terms, or are they completely different? Just wondering. You know what? If you come Tuesday night, you can talk to my Navajo buddy. Guess who's coming on, Kurt, on Tuesday night? But personally, me, I think shamans and medicine men are the same thing, but just with different terms. I don't know, but I'll definitely ask my guest on Tuesday night. So, and another key characteristic is an animistic worldview. It is typically rooted in animism, the belief that all things in nature, including animals, plants, and rocks, possess a spirit or soul. Look at the antelope. The antelope, in my cards, and it's really touching too. Now the antelope, okay, meaning is to help. Oh, you're welcome, buddy. But with the antelope, according to the medicine cards, okay, when the Native Americans were out on the plains, they didn't have no clothing, they didn't have food, they were hurting pretty bad. And so the antelope came up to the Native Americans and said, kill us so you can use our meat to eat. Hey, Lisa Kirk, good to see you, buddy. Good to see you. Audrey's driving with her mom. But the antelope went up to the Native Americans and said, kill us so you can use our meat to eat. And you can use our hides to get warmth. And there's a lot more of it, but I think the antelope story is like really, really, really cool. And that's what it's all about. So I'm really looking forward to giving you guys a reading tonight with my animal cards because it's been a while. Healing and divination. Shamans utilize their spiritual connections to heal physical and mental illnesses, often viewed as soul sickness. Ooh. Provide guidance, find lost objects, and predict future events. See, only line in all this AI stuff predicting future events. Maybe they do, maybe they didn't. Maybe there were some shamans that did predict, future events. But who knows? I cannot, judge them for writing that, first of all. And second of all, I cannot judge the shaman, you know. And the social function. The shaman serves the community by maintaining or restoring balance between human society and the supernatural forces that influence it. Which means he goes out and he's like the mediator between the supernatural, the spirits and stuff, and the human beings, like get them to sit down and smoke a peace pipe, around the fire. That's what the shaman does too, with the social function. But their religious belief, the Lakotas, was so spiritual, so hard. I don't want to say hardcore. I did a lot of my meditations out in the woods, in the trees, in parks, around water. Lisa says he's a spiritual advisor of sort. Yes, yes, you're correct there, Lisa. Definitely. And I felt more at peace sitting under a tree, closing my eyes and meditating than I would if I would have gone to a church. The coolest thing about being out in the park meditating, animals would come up to me. Raccoons with their babies, deer would come up. No lie, really. And then even hearing the trees talk, the plants, listening to the water is so soothing. Not like a river, just like a creek. Like here in Pittsburgh, I call them cricks. But it all works out. It all happens for me out there doing my meditations, my journeys. And it was all taught by the books that I have read, and especially the book of Black Elk, the Lakota Sioux Shaman. Lisa says churches are full of judgment and hypocrisy. Nature is pure. That's where spirit truly lives. That is so true. 110% on that one, Lisa. And it is true, what she said. Definitely. Being out in you can go to a zoo. Go to a zoo and just get yourself entranced with the animals that you're seeing. My favorite animal is the snow leopard. I think they are the sweetest, coolest looking things in the world. I love snow leopards. They're the best. But when I walk into the Pittsburgh Zoo, or any zoo, I was in the Columbus Zoo, I was in the Pittsburgh Zoo, I feel like I'm at home. Does anybody else out there feel that way? When you know you're in a place and you know that you're home. Hey, Cindy. Like Gettysburg, real quick, okay? When I'm driving down 30, when I'm going down 30 East, you feel that's sweet. I'm glad you do feel that, Lisa. Yeah. But when I'm going down 30, going into Gettysburg, I see the first monument that's up there. And I say to myself all the time, I'll say, I'm home. Because it feels like I belong there. But also it feels like I belong into the woods. And Lisa says, I've always felt like I was home in Gettysburg. Yes, for some reason, it's crazy. It's a crazy feeling. you know. I mean, the main attraction was the Battle of Gettysburg was up there for three days. But when you go there, you feel at home. There's so much energy up there. There's a lot of sad energy. There's a lot of good energy. I mean, all kinds. Now, for the longest time, I kept saying to myself, am I going to move up to Gettysburg? That's true, Lise. I believe that. I believe that. And I believe, too, that I am so drawn to the 20th Maine Infantry with Colonel Chamberlain. Because whenever I'm up on Little Round Top, it's just intense. It's really intense for me. But like I said, back in the woods, I feel at peace because I can do what I want to do. Nobody's around to judge me, like Lisa said. And if you want to try it out, okay, if you want to try it out, then what you need to do is go in the woods. Go ahead, Kurt, do it. You live in the woods. You live near the woods. Cindy lives near the woods. I can't walk that big top, honey. I'm drawn to the little big top, Lisa says. And Sachs Bridge, yes. This is a great topic, so I'm looking forward to the rest of the show and the next couple. I'm glad, Kurt. I'm glad. But no way am I walking up Little Round Top. No, 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 no. Little Big Top. Yeah, that's too big of a hill. I'd be like, I'd be out of breath. But also, the healing and divination. Shamans utilize their spiritual connections to heal physical and mental illnesses. Often viewed as soul sickness, provide guidance, find lost objects, and protect future events. The social function. The shaman serves the community by maintaining or restoring balance between human society and supernatural forces that influence it. The etymology and the origins. The word origin, the term comes from the Manchu Tungus word shaman, which literally means one who knows. The geographic roots, while anthropologists use shamanism as an umbrella term for the similar practices worldwide, its classical form originated among the indigenous people of northern Asia and Siberia. Kurt says, I agree to go to the woods away from the main population and reground, heal, and gain mental clarity. Lisa says, I love the woods. I feel more love for my wild creatures than I do people I see every day. You don't have to hike up there anymore. Good. You can drive up. Oh, wow. That's cool. You're not trekking that hill either. No, no, no. No, I am not trekking it. But the one who knows. The term comes from the Manchu Tungus, the word shaman, which literally means one who knows. The geographic roots, while anthropologists use shamanism as an umbrella term for similar practices worldwide, its classical form originated among the indigenous people of northern Asia and Siberia. The modern perspectives. Not a formal religion, scholars often view it as a method or category of behavior rather than a single organized religion with a fixed dogma. And that was a hell of a movie. If you ever get the opportunity, rent the movie Dogma. It'll blow you away. I'll just say it. In the contemporary forms in the 21st century, the term has been adopted by New Age practitioners, often called neo-shamanism, to describe modern spiritual practices focused on personal growth and ecological connections. Michelle says that she goes to the creek near me and my dog while he's chasing squirrels around. I am enjoying the serene sound of running water. I'm telling you, everybody, if you get the opportunity, go and sit by a creek. Literally, just sit and just, you know, close your eyes and open your ears. You'd be so relaxed, it'll put you to sleep. But that's basically, what, the shamanism is all about. There's a lot more, and I'm really looking forward to Tuesday. Okay. I'm really looking for Tuesday with my friend who, um, he's an experiencer with the Navajo. He's a Navajo and he's an experiencer of the Navajo. So he's going to talk about, skinwalkers. He's going to talk about the Coca Paley and a bunch of other stuff. So I'm really looking forward to having him on this show. And Kurt, I swear to God, sometimes I wish my show was 2 hours because it's so fast. But listen, I'm going to go take a real quick break. Go ahead, smoke a cigarette, go to the bathroom, do what you got to do. And when I come back, I am going to give everybody a reading tonight with my Animal Spirit Guidebook cards. Okay? All right. I'll see you in a couple minutes.
Hi, and welcome everyone to Ethereal Encounters Unveiled. Today we are broadcasting live on the United Public Radio Network and the UFO Paranormal Radio Network, 105.3 on the Gulf Coast and 107.7 FM in beautiful New Orleans.
Hey, everybody. Whoa, I hit my table. Hey, welcome back, everybody, to the second part of Into the Night with me, your host, Sean Kelly. I want to thank UPRN Talk Radio, 105.3 Mississippi, 107.7 New Orleans, for allowing me to give you 2 shows a week, Sundays and Tuesday nights, 8:10 to 9:10 p.m. Don't forget, right after my show tonight, if you just stick around, my dear brother, my dear friend, Mr. Don Yazzie, Don't Whistle at Night podcast is right on after me. And go over and send them some love. Send them some love, you know what I mean? And check his show out. Oh, boy. I don't know. But like I told you, like I promised you, that I was going to do a reading from my animal deck cards right here. See all these cards? Now, I will tell you this, when I give you a reading, I'm not going to go through the book and give you the actual definition of the animal. When I pull the card, when I pull that card, I'm going to look at the card and I'm going to read what I'm feeling off that card. So let me get a drink of water here. Actually, it's unsweetened iced tea. And so I'm shuffling the deck and just sit back and, and enjoy the reading. And if the reading comes up that it is for you, you know, I hope it works out. But you know what? If it isn't, that's okay. We can always do this again someday. You know. So here I go. All right. So I shuffled, cutting the deck as you can see. Where are we at? There. Boom. Oh, we go there. Oh, we go there. Okay. So the first card I'm pulling out is the horse. And the horse, this is like way in your past, right? Oh, you're welcome, Kurt. The horse is power. Okay. The horse is able to go long distance without taking a break. And it's fast. Okay. So if you're on this show, when you're on this, when you're starting, I see everybody on a horse. Okay. And you're just traveling and you're going. You have to go places. You want to get there fast. Blah blah blah. You don't want to slow down. You're out to meet that object or whoever you're supposed to go, whatever you're supposed to do. You know, you're going to be. That's why the horse is there. It's going to take you to where you need to go. Okay, and the go in whatever happens, wherever it ends up, it's going to go. The next one is the raccoon. Okay, so you finally get to that place where the horse takes you, and so you get the raccoon. And see, to me, when I look at the raccoon card, right, I kind of see, and I've been told that they are called bandits too, you know. And so you get to that place where you're supposed to be with the horse, and all of a sudden you see the raccoon, and with the raccoon, okay, with the raccoon, you want to steal a little bit of knowledge off of people. You want to steal, um, a little bit of what this person can do for you, and what this person can do for you. So you're at that spot from the horse, and the raccoon who's there is actually taking you and taking things from different places in order for you to, keep it, as you are traveling on your path. Okay. So the next card is the buffalo, and that's a big card. Okay. When I look at the buffalo, okay, it's big, it's huge, it's hardcore, but it's a peaceful animal, and it grazes. Okay, and this is part of the reading. Okay, that it just seems like with the horse taking you to the place where the raccoon's stealing everything off of people, you know, it's a good steal. It's not a bad steal, but they're just taking all kinds of tidbits and, like kind of like you're storing it in your mental place. And then you run across the buffalo. And that stuff that you took from other people by the raccoon, you started to get big. And I'm not talking about egotism. I'm talking about that you are getting a lot more powerful. I mean, yeah, I mean, oh, how can not egotism, but you're progressing. You're progressing, making you feel better, making you feel stronger about yourself. Yes. And so, the next one, I pick up the elk. And again, the elk is huge. So maybe you need to relax a little bit. The elk, when I look at this elk card while I'm doing your reading, okay, so you got, to the place, the raccoon stealing, taking tidbits, and then you see the buffalo and you're getting stronger and stronger. But what scares me about the elk in this reading is that you're going to get too big for your britches and that an ego is going to be coming in pretty soon. And that's one thing that you don't want to do is get an ego. Okay. You don't want to get an ego. I mean, you work so hard to get to the buffalo, right? And then you pull the L card and you're like, yeah, I can kick ass. Yeah, I can do that. But the more you grow, the more stronger you get, okay, the more big of an ego you're going to get. Okay. So the next card is the rabbit. And there you go. This reading's fallen right into place. Okay. The rabbit means fear. Fear. Okay. So, like we know at the elk, you're at that point where you're starting to get an ego. Okay. You're starting to get an ego. And all of a sudden, shit's not going right around you. You're wondering why everybody is like not following you or not listening to you because you're too big for your britches. You know, you're being an asshole. And all of a sudden, that's like, everyone's, not everybody's an asshole, but when you're so big and the ego kicks in, you're an asshole, no doubt. I know I was at one time. And now the rabbit pops in. Okay, the rabbit pops in. And the rabbit stands for fear. It's always running away. It's running away from everything. Plus, it's also, why there's so many bunny rabbits is because, it's food for predators. And so with you having that ego and all of a sudden no one's listening, now the rabbit, you're running. You're running from your ego. You're finally understanding that your fear of people, fear of people, places, and things is kicking in. And that's what the rabbit's at. And the last card is the whale. And the whale is like the library of everything, the knowledge of everything. So all that you did, getting on the horse to where it took you, and the raccoon, being the bandit it is taking little tidbits from everybody and everything and everywhere. Which brings you to the buffalo. You're starting to feel big. You're starting to feel you just strong. You're feeling good about yourself. And then you get to the elk, who's bigger than the bear. Okay. And that's when the ego pops in. And then the rabbit comes in, absolutely comes in your fear. You're afraid that people aren't going to like you now because you're an egotistical bastard is what you are. And then you start running away from it. You start running away for all that you went through that whole meditation, all those cards. You're running away. You had the power with the buffalo, but your ego got in the way. And now you're running away from it. And with the whale is the library, the knowledge of everything. So everything that you picked up on this spread that I just read you is stored into the whale, plus a lot more information. So if you want to start, checking out and doing the whale, seeing what the whale, and it definitely is the library, and it's a keeper of all thoughts or things. Check it out. And that is my reading for you tonight. Okay. I hope you enjoyed it. I really do hope you did. And, maybe I'll be doing these once a month if you think that'd be all right. We have some people walking in. Okay, Kevin says, love that. Be careful not to lose yourself while growing stronger. Come came to mind while listening to your interpretation, Sean. Makes good sense. Good advice. Thank you. Oh, love the library knowledge attained after the race. Ain't that crazy, Kevin? You see how the cars just pop in? Especially when it came to the elk, and all of a sudden I pulled a rabbit, and the rabbit's the fear, and you're running away from it all. Hmm, interesting. Cindy Mitch says, absolutely incredible. Thank you so very much, Sean. Love you. Kurt says, that was told and described very well. Great advice and wisdom. Thank you, Kurt. Joni, it's okay if you're late. You popped in. You made it. You made it, Joni. So that's all that matters, that you got the opportunity to come in. Don't forget, I'll be on Tuesday night. Okay? Michelle says, thank you. That was awesome. And some of it did relate. Well, I'm glad it did, Michelle. There you go. Watch the replay, John. That'd be a great idea. But that's why I enjoy the animal cards. Oh, I made it too. Thank you, Joe. Just watch the replay, my friend. But you know what, everybody? You know, you do the tarot, and then a lot of people, they teach you to read the definitions of each card. Like I'm supposed to read all the definitions of the animal cards. You know what? I don't. When I pick up a card, this is what I feel, this is what I see. And that's all it is. And I never doubt myself, to where a long time ago I did doubt when I did readings. I doubt. I didn't think it was right. I don't know if I was doing any good or whatever. But what it did for me, what it did for me was it gave me, that boost of confidence, where I didn't have to worry what other people had to think of what I did or what I say or how I said it. So if you ever go to a reader, you know, good luck with it. Good luck with your read. But I really enjoyed that tonight. And I might be doing those once a month, maybe twice. I don't know. Reading intuitively like that is amazing. Love that. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. When you can like intuitively, yes. When you just pick the card up, and it's really cool when I'm face to face with the person too. And it blows my mind sometimes at the readings I give. But you know what? I don't. When I do a read, I don't, predict the future. I don't believe in that. Most of my readings that I do when I do psychic fairs or whenever I read for people, it's basically what's going on in your life that moment. That's what my readings are all about. You know, I don't know if you're going to hit the lottery. I don't know, whatever. I don't know. It's just what the cards put out. But that was a fantastic reading tonight. That really was. That was great. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you. All right, everybody. We are down to the witching hour now. And it was a great show tonight. I'm glad a lot of people popped into the chat. And I'm glad and thank you for all the people out there listening over the 160 different countries that we're in. Thank you, Lisa. And all I know is that everybody here, everything is going to be okay. And on that note, children, if you can, please. Thank you, Kevin. Children, if you can, please go to your parents, give them a hug, and tell them you love them. And parents, please go to your children, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. And if you have no parents, and if you have no children, find somebody, give them a hug, and tell them that you love them. Because those 3 words, I love you, go a long way. And on that night, good night. Don't forget, catch Don Yazzi's Don't Whistle at Night podcast right after mine. And we will see you Tuesday.